legal battle. She also knew that I had a brother, an older brother named Marcus. What she also knew, and what she was banking on, was that Marcus and I hadn't spoken in 5 years. Marcus isn't a teacher. Marcus is a shark. He is, without exaggeration, the most feared and expensive divorce attorney in the state. He's a legal predator whose name makes other lawyers nervous. And he was, for all intents and purposes, no longer a part of my life. We had a falling out after our parents died. It was over the family home, the house we grew up in. I wanted to keep it to preserve it as a memory, a place for our families together. I'm sentimental like that. Marcus, ever the pragmatist, saw it as an Oakwood asset. He wanted to sell it, divide the money, and move on. We had a bitter, terrible argument that ended with us on opposite sides of a canyon of stubborn pride. We hadn't spoken since. Evelyn had witnessed the tail end of that fallout. She saw me as completely and permanently isolated from the only powerful person in my family. In her strategic calculation, my greatest potential asset was a dead one. She was wrong. For 3 days after her announcement, I was in a dark place. She was right about one thing. I couldn't afford to fight her, not on her terms. The thought of losing my home, my savings, everything I had worked for was suffocating. On the 4th day, I hit rock bottom. And from there was nowhere to go but up. I swallowed every ounce of my pride, a pride that had cost me my brother for 5 years, and I found his private cell phone number. My hand was shaking as I dialed. I expected it to go to voicemail or to be answered by a sharp-voiced assistant. But after 2 rings, a familiar deep voice answered. "Hello, Marcus," I said, my own voice sounding weak and foreign to my ears. "It's Tom." There was a long pause. For a moment, I thought he was going to hang up. "Tommy," he finally said, the old nickname sounding strange after so many years. "What's wrong?" And it all came pouring out. I told him everything. I told him about Evelyn's demands, her lawyer, her coldness, and I told him her final arrogant taunt. "You can't afford a lawyer to fight me." Another long, heavy silence stretched between us. When he finally spoke, his voice was different. The surprise was gone, replaced by something I hadn't heard in years. It was the sound of a protective older brother. It was the sound of steel. "She said, what?" he asked, his voice dangerously quiet. I repeated her words. "Okay," he said. "When and where is the first court appearance?" "Next Tuesday at the downtown courthouse," I told him. "I'll clear my schedule," he said. "Don't talk to her. Don't talk to her lawyer. Don't sign anything. Just show up on Tuesday. I'll meet you there." We hung up. I sat there, my heart pounding with a mixture of terror and a terrifying hope. Evelyn thought she had disarmed me. She had no idea she had just handed me a nuclear weapon. She was about to learn a very hard lesson about what family really means. The morning of the preliminary hearing was a miserable, rainy Tuesday. It felt appropriate. I walked into the courthouse alone, feeling every bit the part of the defeated man Evelyn expected me to be. I was wearing my best and only suit, the one I usually reserve for weddings and funerals. It felt like a bit of both. I entered the designated courtroom. It was a sterile, impersonal room that smelled of old paper and anxiety. Evelyn was already there, sitting at the plaintiff's table. She looked incredible. She was wearing a sharp, dark blue power suit, her hair perfectly styled. She looked confident, smug, and ready for a corporate takeover. Next to her sat her lawyer, a man in his 50s, with a self-satisfied smirk permanently affixed to his face. They were laughing quietly together as I walked in. She saw me and her smile faltered for a second, replaced by a look of pity.